All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I am Ryan with Michigan Storm Chasers, joined tonight with Joel.
Good evening.
Uh, we are going to be talking about tomorrow's severe risk here. It is a little bit more of a pressing issue than the past couple of days, just because of the overall synoptic patterns going to be setting up. But we do have a severe risk continuing across the state today, although for right now, all these storms do remain sub-severe and have remained sub-severe. We've seen a couple strong ones, even some that exhibit rotation just a bit. But for the time being, these storms are not severe. We're watching them. They're unlikely at this point to go severe. Not zero chance, but it's a low chance through the evening. If anything does go severe, we'll pop in here and go live. So marginal risk continues. That'll get updated at 9 p.m. tonight. Our focus is going to be on tomorrow. So tomorrow we have the entire state in a level 1 risk known as a marginal risk. Okay, doesn't matter if you're Flint, Marquette, you are in a severe threat tomorrow if you live in Michigan. All right. Doesn't mean everybody's going to see a storm, but it does mean the environment across the entire state is favorable for that. All right. What are the hazards on this? Number one hazard, main concern, damaging winds. All right. Damaging winds are going to be the primary concern as we head into the evening hours, as well as any pop up storms that happen throughout the afternoon along lake breeze boundaries, outflow boundaries. Damaging winds. All right. There is a risk for tornadoes. It is in dark green here, up north of Grand Rapids, north of Flint, all the way up to Gaylord. All right, that's going to probably shift and change just a bit as we get more model guidance and confidence as we get closer to tomorrow. But for right now, I think it's pretty well placed given what we're seeing on models for now. But do expect adjustments to these individual risk areas and perhaps an upgrade to a slight if things come together as expected or as they could. All right. So, what do the models say? The models are showing here a line of storms. This is the 18Z HRRR model. It's a very common model that we use. We're going to look off to the west overnight tonight. We're going to have these showers and storms pushing through. They should arrive in West Michigan by right around the 10 to 11 a.m. time frame. Excuse me, tomorrow morning. That's going to throw the wrench into the forecast. So what happens behind that is what's going to matter. Can we destabilize? Because rain does stabilize the atmosphere. If that rain can clear out, sun can come out and destabilize the atmosphere, instability goes up. We'll talk about a severe risk. This model does show that happening here. So watch out to the west for this line to push through. Arrives up there in northern lower Michigan here. Actually, I like the NAM3 solution a little bit better as an overall whole there. Let's go ahead and run this again. So this is tomorrow morning here. We have those storms arriving early tomorrow morning. And then we're going to look to the west there for that line developing in Wisconsin. This is at 5 p.m. according to this model. That's going to trek across Lake Michigan. And it's going to arrive potentially in the northwestern lower corner there. I see this model here has changed just a bit from this morning, but the overall synopsis here is if storms can survive the lake and we destabilize enough, that line of storms will likely stretch all the way up from Traverse City all the way back down, probably toward the Illinois border there, crossing toward Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo areas, okay? So we're going to watch that threat closely. The overall environment does support severe weather as currently modeled. We talk about our SLIM a lot. Shear, lift, instability, and moisture are 4 ingredients that we look for. Let's go ahead and dive into that real quickly for tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, roughly right around that 5 to 8 p.m. time frame. This is your instability here. We're seeing a ton of it, about 1,000 to 2,000 joules across most of lower Michigan there. So your instability box is checked. Let's look at our shear real quick, our mid-level shear. This is our 6 kilometer or 500 millibar shear. We're seeing the coloration up there in northwestern lower. That's plenty of shear, but also the entire state is in a pretty well sheared environment, not overly strong, but enough to warrant mention for severe weather. So we have instability, we have our shear. We have a lot of moisture in place too. Checking out our dew points here. The model here may be just slightly overdone. It does bring the dew points up to right around 70, or maybe just a tad bit over 70, but right around 70, 68, 72 between those areas. Plenty of moisture available. And also that source of lift, looking at lifted indices here, switching this back over to the severe weather. There we go. There's your lifted indices here. So your source of lift here in Michigan is -5, -6-ish up there in northern and central lower Michigan. Down here is a little bit weaker in southern Michigan, but that also will increase as the overall forcing for this system moves into our area here. So overall, we do have all the ingredients coming together potentially. Again, it's going to depend heavily on how the morning showers and storms play out tomorrow. We do have a pretty good environment that is modeled to take shape. Looking again at the latest guidance here, we're going to have those morning showers and storms throw the wrench into the forecast here. And that's going to be really what we're going to watch again tomorrow morning to see if we can build back instability. But regardless, those storms that arrive in the morning perhaps may be strong in nature, a lot of lightning, perhaps some gusty winds, small hail. With the overall environment tomorrow, same thing applies as the past 5 days of severe weather risks. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. And the combination of the hot and humidity brings up our unstable environment. If we have a trigger for storms, storms can become severe, especially with downbursts and microbursts. So same thing applies tomorrow, but we do have that overall system, so to speak, a bigger forcing mechanism to get storms going as that arrives tomorrow that we have not had the past 5 days of severe weather here. All right. So again, severe risk does continue tonight, but this stream is focusing on again tomorrow. But again, just want to mention that risk for those of you just tuning in. We still have a risk today for damaging winds, although the chance as of right now appears quite low with these storms across the state. They have all remained sub-severe today. We got a couple strong ones, but nothing to write home about. All right. Main time frame tomorrow. If that first line becomes strong to severe, it could, produce some gusty winds up there right around that noon time frame. So we may be looking to start our radar watching, so to speak, a bit earlier tomorrow. But the main line we're going to watch, if it can make it across the lake into an unstable environment, would probably be closer to that 6, 7, 8 o'clock and after that time frame, especially in northwestern lower Michigan. That's where the most concern is. As the shear we looked at back here on the NAM model, our mid-level shear is highest out in northwestern lower where these pinks and brighter colors are. That's about 50 to 60 knots of mid-level shear, which is more than enough to organize storms into severe storms. So that's where the highest concern is. That's why there's also a 2% tornado up there. So all hazards are, I'm not going to say all hazards. Damaging winds and tornadoes are your main hazards. Hail is not currently a concern, but it may become a concern, although ingredients for hail seem subdued for this one, but not completely zero. With that being said, you guys have any questions?
You guys should be good to drive tonight. Just be advised there'll be some heavy downpours out there. I think the severe risk is almost done for the night, but don't count your chickens before they hatch, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's still a few outflow boundaries there that could kick off some storms. But again, what's out there right now doesn't look overly concerning. But things can ramp up quickly here. So we'll be watching it behind the scenes and go live if need be.
So I would say, Ryan, probably multiple rounds tomorrow possible after like the 11 o'clock time frame in the morning.
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
And then
watch party tonight. I will not be. I'll leave up to Joel. Joel's shaking his head no, so probably not. Could a slight risk move into the state? Potentially. It's going to take destabilization of the atmosphere to happen. The shear tomorrow, if we get the instability, the copulation of both, I would think warrants a little bit higher risk. But again, it's conditional on the unstable air arriving. We very well could have that first line move through and zap our unstable atmosphere, and boom, there goes our severe threat. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But if everything comes together, could definitely see an upgrade to a slight risk. And again, we don't issue those slight risks. Just to make that clear, that comes from the SPC out of Norman, Oklahoma. We just communicate those to you.
So, yeah, the messenger.
Right. So
definitely probably get some good sleep tonight. Go to bed early.
Are we tired of being live? Absolutely not. We love to do this. We love to do this.
I was going to say, I went out. You guys don't know this, but I went out in storm chase today, and I was in this room getting really good structure shots. I even had a rotating wall cloud earlier, and we weren't live for it because nothing was severe. So
yeah, a few storms did exhibit rotation today, very weak rotation, which is not surprising given that we were looking at the atmosphere up in northern lower. It had a lot of shear up there today, but just didn't have enough juice, so to speak, to get the job done, which is good news, honestly. We don't need any more tornadoes in the state.
Again, it's for everybody tomorrow.
Yep. If it doesn't matter where you live in the state, you're in a risk.
Multiple lines starting at 11 a.m. or later. And then I think that last ride was well after sunset, I believe.
Yeah. Main line could arrive closer to that. As I said, 8, 9 o'clock time frame at the latest or at the earliest potentially. Models are kind of bullish or bearish, should I speak, on that second line coming through. So we'll see what happens though. I know the 12Z model this morning had a little bit better look, I believe. Yeah, this is what we're kind of thinking is going to happen here. This is this morning's model. This is at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. There's your line we're kind of concerned about showing up here on radar for Northwestern Lower. The latest guidance here, I think, is trying to pick up on potentially less instability overall being available. So we're kind of going to keep an eye on that for sure. But yeah, that's going to arrive at this, according to this morning's model, 9 p.m., 8 to 9 p.m. Is this the grand finale? No, Brittany. We're looking already into early next week for more potential severe weather. Again, we're not going to dive into that just yet. I know there's some talk about it on our community page and stuff like that. For us here at MSC, it's a little bit too far out to start talking about. But early next week, we are watching the overall pattern for more potential severe. But what days, what times, what hazards, that's just not going to be known until probably at the very earliest Sunday, but probably going to be Monday before we lock anything down.
Aaron Smith, welcome to the channel. He's an EF2 member here. Thank you for supporting the team, and welcome to the team.
Appreciate you, Aaron. I'm moving to the moon.
Yeah, you're right. They don't get severe up there. They also don't have an atmosphere up there.
They get craters though, don't they?
Yes.
So instead of hail, you have gigantic craters coming towards you.
Meteors, yeah.
Yeah, meteors. That's what I meant to say.
It creates craters, yeah.
That's what I meant. Oh gosh. Any storms for Lower Michigan? What day, SRT? The answer is yes, between today, tonight, and tomorrow. Although what's out there tonight doesn't look too concerning. Pretty good storm going on in Saginaw County. Doesn't look too strong to me, though. Also one down here, an outflow boundary, should I say, in southeast Michigan. Some pop-up showers in Wayne County, Livonia area. Just some showers, potentially rumble of thunder. Also up here in Oakland, we have a couple of showers, but overall, none of these really look concerning. So storms, yes. Severe, probably not.
Ryan, I was just looking at instability for tomorrow a little bit further here, and it looks like it might actually struggle, kind of similar to what we had that time that Southeast Michigan was going to get the severe, and then they had the 50-degree dews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at multiple models here, all below, around or below 1,000 joules per cape or per kilogram of cape. But that was the 18Z, so that was earlier this morning or earlier this afternoon. And it looks like there could also be another fail mode with tomorrow being multiple lines of storms. Not only do you have instability being eaten into at multiple rounds, that really kind of kills it off, but you also have a little bit of a capping inversion out there across mainly western, kind of south central Michigan area, so like the Lansing and Grand Rapids metro. It looks like less of a capping inversion the further north you go. So if you live along in kind of around the M20 to US 10 corridor, kind of here by me where I'm at in Mount Pleasant, perhaps stronger chances of seeing severe tomorrow. But right now it's only a marginal risk. So again, we do have some things to work out by tomorrow morning.
Yep. April, this is going to be for tomorrow. And the only reason we're going live for this one and not the past couple of days is because this one has a little bit more in the way of ingredients potentially coming together that could make it a little bit bigger of a concern. So that's why we're live here.
Strawberry Moon is tonight, according to Shell.
I have not heard that.
Can we delete the line and keep the rain part? That sounds like a great idea. Of our plans for tonight, I think this is going to be the only thing in the way of briefings. I'm not sure what Ryan's going to do for tomorrow. We're probably going to be up almost tracking this in the morning hours, honestly, if it does happen to go severe as it comes on shore. But again, we'll see. But I think we need to really catch up on our sleep tonight.
Yeah, so I'll get a YouTube video probably pumped out overnight for our members. It should release to the public probably by tomorrow morning. So you guys will have that to look at overnight tonight. I actually just got a report out of St. Clair County today of thunderstorm wind damage, large tree limbs down around 8 inches in diameter near Columbus at 6:36. So a little bit stronger of a storm there in St. Clair County. I want to point that out real quick. If you guys are going to head out, be sure to hit the like on the stream. Helps us out a lot. I would appreciate that. And if you are not subscribed on YouTube and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and feel free to subscribe. It's free to do. You'll be updated every time we're live or post a new video. So the entire state tomorrow is under a risk for severe weather for damaging winds. Similar to today in the past 4 days, microbursts are possible as a lot of instability and humidity is going to be in the atmosphere. But there is a caveat here. We're kind of expecting a bit more of a potent line to work through, potentially up there in northwestern lower from about Mount Pleasant, Grand Rapids, up to Traverse City, Gaylord area, and then points eastward toward Alpena. That's going to be the main concern tomorrow as far as a little bit higher end threat. But otherwise, across the entire state, pop-up storms are possible. Damaging winds is your primary concern, but we do have a 2% tornado with that line coming across the lake, potentially up there in northern lower, which is a screen map. That's your tornado risk. It's the lowest risk we can have on the scale of 2 to 60% probabilities. So it's low risk, but a risk you should take seriously if you live in and around that green shaded area. And we don't have approximate times for pop-up storms across the state. We can say up here, we're probably this is probably a good outline here, Joel. That line is probably going to track close to this green marker area. So west side of Michigan in this green zone for that line, probably 9 p.m. and after. And then it probably should reach and clear the state probably by 2, 3, 4 a.m. around that time frame. But showers are probably going to exist behind that line as well. So the main concern for severe is going to move out of the state, but rain will likely last a little bit longer.
Another big thing to watch with the storm, especially trending over northern Michigan tomorrow potentially. There's a flood watch in effect for I believe the entirety of the Gaylord County warning area zone. And so again, we'll have to watch that tomorrow again, as well as I believe the Weather Prediction Center, which issues kind of the same outlooks as the Storm Prediction Center does, but they do it for specifically just rain. And I believe it's a slight risk right now for tomorrow in terms of the rain.
I can actually pull that up here real quick if you want me to.
Yeah, sure. And I know like I think out of the next 5 days, I think Michigan's in like at least a marginal for heavy rainfall.
Right. So flash flooding in localized places is definitely a possibility. And that's due to the humidity and the warm temperatures there. It just gets your rainfall rates to be a little bit higher than usual.
Yep. I see comments about the Electric Forest Festival. I believe that's this weekend, actually. And so just be on alert starting around noon tomorrow. Again, the best thing to do is have a weather radio on you. I know a lot of people don't bring them when they go to Electric Forest Fest. You should have at least a phone on you. Make sure you have like a weather app on you for sure there. And I believe it's at MIS Speedway down there in Brooklyn.
This is your WPC rainfall outlook. So it's just like the SPC outlook. There's a marginal, there's a slight, there's an enhanced. No, I don't think there's an enhanced. There goes to moderate, I believe. I think there's an enhanced for this. Regardless.
It's kind of like the olden days SPC. So it's marginal, slight, moderate, and high.
Okay, that's what I thought. So anywhere there in the yellow risk is a slight risk for heavy rainfall. So again, northern lower and then central and eastern UP, but also a marginal extends down toward Flint, Kalamazoo, and also up there by Marquette and points westward.
Pamela Nelson, welcome to the channel and welcome to the team. Thank you for your support. Appreciate you very much. Oh, I'm thinking of faster horses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't think we got.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got the two mixed up.
I think
That's
MIS
up
is
in
clear this week.
so along the west side of the west side of Michigan somewhere. My bad. Yep. This is your severe weather risk for tomorrow. So everywhere you see in the dark green shade is in a threat for severe tomorrow. So that's pretty much everybody you see in Michigan, except for Keweenaw Peninsula up there. And I know it says like the very southeastern corner of Monroe, but I would say 25 miles within a point, you guys are in it. Yeah, Rothbury. Yep. I passed by it before. Again, we do not plan to do a watch party tonight, at least for tomorrow's system. We might do one for upcoming systems, but we kind of need a break. We've live streamed for 5 straight days. Today, I mean, this is the briefing, so I guess you could consider it 6 straight, but it's not weather coverage. So we're gonna get our much needed sleep tonight, hopefully, and knock on wood that happens.
Yeah, don't jinx us.
I would say absolutely the slight risk could move into the at least the lower peninsula. Not sure where, but maybe along that same gradient as the tornado risk, which is mainly for central Michigan. What's going on in Monroe heading that way now? Showers and thunderstorms for sure happening in Monroe. Not anything severe right now. Speaking of what's going on right now, there is a flood advisory that was issued for Saginaw County as well as Southern Midland County, and that is because they've just had 17 rounds, it seems like, of rain today there, which is good because I know Saginaw County and places around here have not been getting any rain or very little rain this week.
Anything happening in Detroit tonight? Just some showers and potential storms. Severe risk at this point does appear to be quite low. Yeah, Ziggy, we have no control over what ads you see. So
It's a YouTube addict.
current storms are over Wayne County, Macomb County, as well as Saginaw County. That's in main areas. Also up in the West Branch and East Tawas area is a couple other storms and showers, but none of these are strong, guys. So if you're asking about your locations across the state, yes, there's a chance of a pop-up storm overnight or through the evening, should I say. There's a low chance of severe at this point. I wouldn't expect that to be any concern.
We think, Ryan, wrap it up here shortly.
Yeah, about 30 minutes here. So I think we're good. We've explained everything here. So I think we're about ready to wrap it up here. I'll pump a YouTube video out for you guys, for your members overnight. And then also you'll be public tomorrow morning. Pretty much saying what I just said, or what we just said here tonight. So.
Do you want to take the radar live really quick just to kind of show everyone? I know there's a couple of people asking right now about what's going on out there currently. Not really much.
A good looking sell up here by Saginaw, but looking on velocity and like the updraft, it doesn't look that strong at all. But again, flow advisory there, and you're getting rain again into flow advisory, so that's obviously not a good thing. These two up here just kind of hanging out, not doing too much though. So across the state, we do have a couple boundaries there storms can fire up on, especially down here. We have a couple. There's one here in Washtenaw and Wayne County. There's also one up here in Clinton and Shiawassee County. Is that right?
Yes.
So that's a couple boundaries we're going to watch there. But other than that, there's not much going on. West side is clear. Another boundary up there in Montcalm County. So yeah, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here, guys. So appreciate you guys watching. If anything changes, of course, watch our Facebook page. We'll post updates. SPC update comes at 2 a.m. and again at 9 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Anything significant changes within those outlets, we will tell you guys and post about it. With that being said, we're going to pop out of here. So thank you guys for watching. We'll be watching radar behind the scenes here, going live as needed. And also, same thing tomorrow. We'll have chasers who plan to be chasing tomorrow as well. So if anything goes severe, we'll have chasers on the ground as well as radar coverage. So with that being said, I'm going to pop out of here. You guys have a great night and enjoy your evening.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.